You are telling a friend an amazing story, and you just get to the best part when suddenly he interrupts. The alien and I, not me and the alien, he says. Most of us would be annoyed, but aside from the rude interruption, does your friend have a point? Was your sentence actually grammatically incorrect? And if he still understood it, why does that even matter? From the point of view of linguistics, this grammar is a set of patterns for how words are put together to form phrases or clauses, whether in spoken or in writing. And then different languages have different patterns too. In English, the subject normally comes first, followed by the verb and then the object, while in Japanese and many other languages, the order is subject, object, and then verb. Some scholars try to identify patterns which are common to all languages, which are called linguistics universals. And while any language needs consistent patterns to function, the study of these patterns opens up an ongoing debate between two positions known as prescriptivism and descriptivism. Grossly simplified, prescriptivists think a given language should follow consistent rules, while descriptivists see variation and adaptation as a natural and necessary part of language. For much history, the vast majority of language was spoken. But as people become more interconnected and writing gained more importance, written language was standardized to allow broader communication and ensure that people in different parts of the realm could understand each other. In many languages, this standard form came to be considered the only proper one, despite being derived from just one of many spoken varieties, usually of people in power. Language puricists worked to establish and propagate the standard by detailing a set of rules that reflected the established grammar of their times. And rules for written grammar were applied to spoken language as well. Speech patterns that deviated from the written rules were considered corruptions or signs of low status, and many people who had grown up speaking in these ways were forced to adopt the standardized form. More recently, however, linguists have understood that speech is a separate phenomenon from writing, which is with its own regularities and patterns. Most of us learn to speak at such an early age that we don't even remember when we started. We form our spoken repertoire through unconscious habits, not memorized rules. And because speech also uses mood and intonation for meaning, its structure is actually often more flexible and adapting to the needs of speakers and listeners. This could mean avoiding complex clauses that are hard to parse in real time, making changes to avoid awkward pronunciation, or removing sounds to make speech faster. The linguistic approach that tries to understand and match such differences without dictating correct ones is known as descriptivism. Rather than deciding on how language should be used, it describes how people actually use it and tracks the innovations that come up with the process. But while the debate between prescriptivism and descriptivism continues, the two are not mutually exclusive. At its best, prescriptivism is useful for informing people about the most common established patterns at a given point in time. This is important not only for formal context, but it also makes communication easier between non-native speakers from different backgrounds. Descriptivism, on the other hand, gives us insight on how our mind works and the instinctive ways in which we structure our view of the world when we speak. Ultimately, though, grammar is best thought of as a set of linguistic habits that are constantly being negotiated and reinvented by the entire group of language users, which is us. Like language itself, it's a wonderful and complex fabric woven through the contribution of speakers and listeners, writers and readers, prescriptivists and descriptivists from both near and far.